Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, we're going to take a look at Amazon Neptune, which is a graph database. So what we'll do is go over to Amazon Neptune. I want to go ahead and launch a new database here. We have provisioned and serverless. Serverless sounds pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and utilize that. I believe I used that last time. It was pretty good. Will be for development and testing. We'll leave the cluster name alone. The instance name is fine. We want standard. We don't need IO optimized here. We'll leave the NCUs alone. We don't need AZs or anything like that here today. We'll stick with the defaults for the subnets. And we wanted to create a notebook. So that's a good idea. So we'll just say notebook here, as that would be the easiest way to interact with it. And I actually have a lot of information about Neptune there. Like you can just read that Neptune notebook and know so much about it. And this will get created over in SageMaker, so that's where it'll get created. We'll go ahead and let it create the parameters. Everything else seems fine. Let's go ahead and create it. And I always get this error every time I run this. I just always forget some option here. Current AZ adds subnets to at least 2 AZs. Now, we said that we aren't doing multi-AZ, so it shouldn't matter. We shouldn't have to choose 2. This could just be an issue that I'm in CA Central 1. I think this is what happened last time. Let's go over to US East 1. And let's just try this again. Okay, it might be a region issue here. So I'm going to go again, choose serverless. Testing, sorry, standard. 1 is fine, no AZ, leave the defaults alone. T3 medium is fine. We'll just say notebook here and notebook. Hopefully I haven't used those names before. It is, so I'm going to go just put 2 in here so I don't have a conflict. I'm going to go ahead and create that database. And we will wait for that cluster to provision. And the thing that really matters is going over to SageMaker. This is where our notebook's going to be. I still might have the older one there. That's why I'm having the issue here. But if you go here on the left-hand side, we'll look for notebooks. Okay. And I always thought that these, yeah, I have the other one here. I just want to get rid of the old one. But I always thought that these notebook instances were going to go away when SageMaker improved, but seems like they are still very popularly used. But anyway, we'll wait for all of this provision, and let's keep our 2 tabs open here, and we'll play around with Neptune. It's not super hard to use. I don't usually remember the syntax too often, but they do have examples, so we can just make sure we can insert some data, and that should be sufficient, okay? All right, let's see if that is provisioned. So our notebook is provisioned, and we'll take a look at our actual Neptune database and see if that is provisioned. So they are ready to go. So we can go ahead and just establish a connection here. So we'll just open this up in Jupyter Labs. All right, so we'll open up this notebook. So now that it is open, you can see here that there is already a folder here called Neptune. And they have a very nice overview about all the functionalities about Neptune and its use cases. Those are the 3 use cases, of course. And the other thing is that when we're utilizing it as a database, there are a few different ways that we can utilize it because it's going to be dependent on how we are querying the data. So I mostly know Gremlin. I know there's like SparQL and other things like that, but again, haven't had a use case for those. But let's go take a look here at some of the code for Gremlin. And there's this special way of indicating its connection. So you'll see this percentage Gremlin. And so these are special shortcuts that explain it here. Executes a Gremlin query against, I think these are called macros magic extensions. So executes a Gremlin query against your database using WebSockets, similar to how Gremlin console would return it. So obviously there are some things there that we can do there. But they also do have examples, I think, here. If we type in like Neptune, Gremlin, AWS docs, I think they have like a simple example here. So like if we go into here, I remember there should be one here with Gremlin. Yeah, here's an example of Gremlin. So, you know, we could create our own notebook and go through this and configure it. And I think that is something that we can do, but I believe that this one's already ready to work with ours. So if we just go into here, into this, we should be able to insert some data. So, I mean, that's one way of inserting data. I'm going to go over here to this one. So here it says add a vertex and label. And so we'll go ahead and run that and see what happens. Okay, see how there is an asterisk? It means that it is going to run. So there you go. So it has now inserted this data into our Neptune database. Okay. We have added vertex with a custom ID, so we can just keep on clicking through this. Okay. And I think there is like a way of visualizing data somewhere in here. So if we just keep clicking through these examples. Okay, here they're adding a lot of vertices. Okay, we'll add edges. At some point, I think we'll have like some kind of visualization. Okay, deleting, run transversal. Let's take a look at the transversal here. Specify multiple labels. I was hoping for like a visualization, but not sure if we'll exactly see one there. Well, here's a more complex example where they're using gremlins. So I guess what we do before you begin, clear all the existing data of your Neptune. So we'll do that. We'll just clear all the data that we have been mucking with this entire time. Okay, so we have our results. It shows that it has done something. It says you can check the contents of the configuration 2 ways. Okay, so this will set up, I guess this is just catting out the file. So it's just showing what our configuration is set up currently. And if we click on this, it's just showing again our information. So here you can see it's adding a bunch of users. And then it's checking whether they have particular labels and setting their property strength for all of them to set up the relationships between them. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, and this would be a really good use case for a graph database. So there it's set up the information. Okay, here it says this is what the network looks like. So this is what it's created. And so here we can create our recommendation. So if we just carefully read this, I wonder if we can make this text a bit larger. It is a little bit small. But here it's saying, let's find someone that has the label of user, and their name is Terry, and they're a user, and they're friends with Terry. Okay. So if we go here, it seems like it's making a recommendation based on who's friends with Harry, right? Or sorry, Terry, right? And so these are their recommendations of this. So if we went back up to this graph and we looked at Terry, if we can find Terry, right? We have Henry over here, Alistar, Gary. Okay, so again, we'll carefully read this again. So we're looking for Terry, friends, without friends by name. So we have Henry, Colin, Emily. I'm just seeing if it's like one removed. Henry, Colin. Notice it's not doing like, well, I guess it's the direction of the friendship, right? So it seems like it's always just one removed. But again, I'm not the best at reading those. So but here it says using friendship strength to improve recommendation. So how strong of a relationship you have. So maybe the degrees of friendship. And so here we can see Colin, Henry, and Chloe. So yeah, there you go. It would be nice to have a better visualization of it, but I mean, you know, it's graph databases. Those are hard to visualize. I like in Cosmos DB, it's very easy to get a visualization. But anyway, for Neptune, it's not as easy to use. But yeah, I think that's a good introduction and for us to get comfortable here with Neptune. So I think what we'll do is go ahead and just tear this down. So let's go ahead and just say delete cluster. Must not contain DB instances. So we'll have to get rid of the DB instance first. Okay. And don't stop it first because you can't stop one that's not deleted here. I don't want to create a final snapshot, so just make sure you do that. And we'll say delete. And we'll give this a nice refresh. And we'll just wait for that to finish deleting. I think actually we can delete this if this isn't a deleting state. Let's go ahead and see if we can do that. So we'll go ahead and say delete cluster, confirm, don't create final snapshot, confirm. And so now they should both be deleting. We'll have to come back to that. I want to close out that SageMaker instance notebook. So we'll make our way over to SageMaker. And we'll go over to notebooks here. And we'll go ahead and stop this. We'll have to stop it first before we can delete it. So that's stopping. So we'll just wait for these to proceed. Okay, so that one's deleting, so that's good. Yeah, we'll wait for this to 100% stop and we'll confirm that this is deleted, okay? All right, our database is gone. Let's go over to our instance here, and we'll go ahead and just delete it. And if it's deleting, we are in good shape. I will see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.